Stugotz here, guys. Mother's Day is coming up pretty quick. Whether it's your mom, your wife, or your sister, all moms need to hear they are appreciated and know that they are loved. So, show how much you care to the lady who taught you everything you know about caring with a Hallmark card. From sweet to sentimental to laugh out loud funny, Hallmark has a card that'll help you put your love for mom into words and let her know how much she matters. It's your way of saying thank you for all the sleepless nights and selfless acts of love. Go out and find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card today. You can find them wherever Hallmark cards are sold.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Don Le Batard.
I feel terrible.
Here's the thing with you. You don't actually feel terrible.
I didn't feel a thing, to be honest with you. I don't really care.
I know. You announcing I feel terrible is just your way to move on to the next terrible thing you're going to do.
Stugotz.
They're just words, and words mean nothing to you.
They don't mean nothing. His words mean nothing.
Words are just transitions to your next lie.
That's so right. They're not words. They are bridges to lies.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We have some basketball to discuss today, even though we took a season-long route to exactly the four teams we saw remaining at the beginning. I know a bunch of stuff happened and Kyrie Irving got hurt, but when it started, it was everybody saying Boston, Cleveland in the Eastern Finals and Warriors and Houston in the Western Finals.
Here we are.
And last night was interesting. If you could find the game logs, Stugotz, I just want to go over like the last 4 minutes of Philadelphia's season and where Boston was getting the shots, the last 4 minutes that ended Philadelphia. After the game, Ben Simmons, went up to Joel Embiid and showed him his fingers and said there are going to be a lot of rings on these fingers. And perhaps there will be, but not before a jump shot emerges from those fingers as well.
Right.
Because what happened in that series is Boston was better only when Ben Simmons was on the court, which is crazy. The plus-minus numbers are insane. When Ben Simmons was on the court, Boston kicked Philadelphia's butt. When he wasn't on the court, Philadelphia kicked Boston's butt.
Right.
And then last night in that game, what happened at the end, what happened throughout really, is Philadelphia's three-point shooters were eliminated because Brad Stevens said, okay, Simmons, get your dunks, get your little two-pointers, get your hooks, get your stuff in the paint, but your three-point shooters aren't going to get off. Bellinelli's going to play 3 minutes. Ilyasova's not going to have any impact. JJ Redick is going to be useless most of the game, even though he's your veteran presence.
I'm going back here, fourth quarter, like final 5 minutes, because it started at, with 4:57 to go. Jason Tatum made a dunk.
Let's do this. Let's go from right there. This is the last 5 minutes of Philadelphia season. Let's go through this as I explained to you that in playoff basketball throughout history, three-point shot has changed some of this, but throughout history, the reason that even LeBron and Kobe and Michael miss the game winners is because toward the ends of games, everything gets tightened up, and at the very end of games, when you're playing for a game winner, those shots are often missed because of how hard playoff basketball makes it to get to the rim, to get open shots. Now, listen to the end of Philadelphia season. I haven't looked at it. I'm just remembering what I saw in the game where I see dunks and layups and putbacks, and you've got 7'2" Joel Embiid, and he's the future, and all Boston is doing is getting everything it wants an inch from the basket.
So it starts with that Tatum dunk, 4:57 to go in the game. Okay, so Tatum gets a dunk, and then just scrolling down here, then you have the Marcus Smart. You have some free throws from Tatum and Smart. Tatum got those free throws because he got to the rim, he got fouled, he got 2 free throws, he made them. Then you have the Marcus Smart putback as well, which was right at the rim, obviously, followed up by Al Horford and an alley-oop dunk assisted by Jason Tatum. And if Horford didn't dunk it home, Tatum was just going to lay it right in because he had the whole lane, essentially. You scroll down a little bit more. Tatum makes another layup with 22 and a half seconds to go. So all their shots in the final 5 minutes were them getting fouled going to the rim or them converting shots that were right at the rim with Joel Embiid in the game.
You can go back even more. Horford had a bunch of layups right before that. Steals. Horford controlled the game. Philadelphia gets the lead back, and it is simply a stinging indictment of the young Sixers who will grow and be better. The way Joel Embiid ended that season after all of his yapping, and I know that stat box looks good because he played hard and offensively he's a menace because he's bigger than everyone else. But the way that season ended, with Embiid flopping on the ground a foot away because he couldn't get over that barbarian Viking that plays for the Celtics. What did we agree with that Aaron Baines was? Was he barbarian? Viking? Was there another option?
I think we settled on hipster barbarian meets Tyler Durden.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works too.
Mm-hmm.
So Embiid can't get his shot off very close to the basket.
Well, he got it off. He just didn't get it in.
Can't make it. Is flopping around on the floor like a fish on the deck of a boat. But what I'm telling you is the last 5 minutes of that season, such an embarrassing indictment for both Simmons and Embiid, because Simmons is your obvious future. He's LeBron of the future. He has no jump shot. He short-circuited in the series. He had 1 point in one of the games, and his plus-minus was awful. Boston took advantage every time Simmons was on the floor because Philadelphia couldn't get its three-point shooters going at any point in the series.
And the game certainly wasn't decided on that one Embiid play, but when a big man, especially one the caliber of Joel Embiid, gets that sort of positioning, it is shocking when that doesn't result in a make or at least free throws.
Mike, but hold on a second. I know a lot of people will concentrate there. What I'm telling you is the way that Philadelphia's season ended, there is nothing more embarrassing than 7'2" Joel Embiid being no kind of detriment to a starless Boston team without Hayward or Kyrie Irving, the guys who can actually get to the rim, a Boston team that should have problem with shot creation late in the game, no matter how good Tatum is, because they're young. Brown and Tatum are young, and that the idea that Boston fed at Joel Embiid's rim for the last 6 minutes of that season, man, take that into the offseason with you, and if that doesn't quiet you, if the shame of that doesn't quiet you, and it won't, it ought to make you better.
Some crazy stats here from ESPN on Ben Simmons in this series. Minus 63 for the series. Ben Simmons. Worst of any player. Philly plus 48 with him on the bench this series. Ben Simmons, this is incredible, made 0 field goals outside of the paint against the Celtics in the East semifinals and was 5 of 24 out of the restricted area. That is nuts,
but
man.
But the thing is, to me, because he's tall Rondo, the fact that at this youth without a jump shot, he can cave in your defense has been a marvel to see. But Brad Stevens said not anymore. He just said, go ahead, cave it in, go to the paint, see what you got. Well, you'll make some of your twos, you'll make some of your floaters. We are not going to allow Bellinelli and Ilyasova and Redick to beat us from out there. But what I will say, though, because this is predictable, basketball has been too predictable, we have to create our storyline somehow. And I feel a little pathetic that the way we're doing it this time is with Drew Bledsoe. This is a concocted storyline. Let me take you through it if you're not aware. Terry Rozier, who has been a career nobody, Scary Terry, has become Scary Terry over Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe, someone you also don't care about. Eric Bledsoe got scorched in the first round by Terry Rozier. Eric Bledsoe, during the first round, made the mistake of calling Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier made the mistake of, Eric Bledsoe, Drew Bledsoe,
right? Terry Rozier,
because Eric Bledsoe pretended he didn't know Terry Rozier's name.
So confused.
Okay, let me start again.
It was Terry Rozier and Eric Bledsoe, and Terry Rozier mistakenly called Eric Bledsoe Drew Bledsoe, and when they asked Terry about Eric Bledsoe, he followed up by saying, "I don't even know who the bleep that is."
And so now Drew Bledsoe gets trotted out. Yes,
he's sitting courtside. I mean, they're making a wine together, and then after the game, after the series is over, I mean, I don't get this. Drew Bledsoe gets some podium time. He actually held a press conference. Like, we're coming dangerously close here to having a Mount Rushmore of people who have made themselves the stories where they have no business being the story. I've got 2. I need 2 more. I got Bledsoe and I got Sister Jean.
You need 2 more?
of people who have nothing to do with the story, no effect on the story, yet somehow they became the story. Drew Bledsoe was the story after last night's game.
We are, Boston is so starless in basketball that we've made Drew Bledsoe the star of playoff basketball yesterday. Former Patriots quarterback Drew Bledsoe, who made a Super Bowl appearance, but also became famous because Tom Brady took his job when his lungs filled with blood.
Hey, Rally Monkey, you're on there.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him, "Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash." His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So, it was all good.
Don Le Batard.
There are some legitimately meaty race stories out there.
Stugotz.
Great.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Download the free Vivid Seats app today to get your tickets.
All right, our spelling bee is very popular. I don't mean to oversell it. It just is something that people enjoy. Our annual NBA playoff spelling bee, we will do it in a moment with Stugotz. Got a lot to get to. A lot of people are sending notes saying that Steph Curry's family have made themselves a part of the story when they're not a part of the story. A lot of good nominees that we're getting for the Mount Rushmore. I think you were too quick to put the Rally Monkey and Sister Jean up there. We've got to wait this out for a second because Drew Bledsoe's not going to end up qualifying.
Ray Allen's mom.
There's a lot to get to. Also, somebody's written in very angrily about Aaron Baines. Vikings were on ships. That dude is a man of the land, not the sea. I don't agree totally. I do agree that Aaron Baines looks like he's like from the land, but if I put him on the sea, I feel like he's going to kick your butt there too. Another person writes in with a photo of Matt Patricia because he's in the news today. And he's like, but please don't talk about the story that he's in the news for today. Talk about the pencil behind his ear at his introductory news conference. I didn't know that was something that he did at the press conference.
Yeah.
We have revealed in our investigation that he is a pencil fraud with a laminated play sheet.
Correct.
And he does that on the sidelines. I didn't know that he broke out the prop. That old prop coach did it at his introductory press conference.
It's always there. It's not even a prop. It's just part of who he is.
No, he did the professional thing, and then he brought it out for a cheap pop at the end.
So let's go ahead and do this spelling bee. It's very exciting. This is the way that it works. It's 5 words. Mm-hmm. 5 words. It's me against Stugotz. I'm undefeated. Never lost.
You proud of that?
Yeah. These words are, as a reminder to the audience, as it is every year, these words are randomly drawn. We did a coin flip before the show and decided that Stugotz goes first this year.
Okay. So Stugotz goes first this year. All right. All right. Let's see. The first word for Stugotz to spell is?
Luke Bahamute.
Really? Let me hear it in a sentence, please.
Luke Bahamute is the glue that holds the Houston Rockets together. If something were to happen to Luke Bahamute, Houston's season will be over. Basically, Luke Bahamute is more important to the team than James Harden.
All right, so Glueguy.
That's
Luke
that's good.
Bahamute. LucBahamoute. Luke Bahamute.
That was so good it counts for 2. Stugotz gets 2 points there. 2-point head start Stugotz gets right there. What is...
Cocky Dan. I mean, these are hard names.
No, it's not cocky. It's just he deserves that. For doing it that clever, he deserves 2 points. So he's up 2-0. What is my word?
James Harden.
Okay, come on.
That's hard. Put the hard in Harden.
Get out of here.
Can I hear it in a sentence, please?
James Harden cannot hold a candle to the eternal flame that shines brighter and more intensely than 10,000 suns that is Luke Bahamute.
Oh, wow. Okay, more praise for Luke Bahamute. For some reason, my father has developed something of an obsession with Luke Bahamute. Jamesharden.
James Harden. Jamesharden. James Harden.
Got still up 2-1.
Real
Still
tough
up
one
2-1.
Oh, man.
The second word in our spelling bee for the mighty Stugotz, who is, he's the Washington Generals. He has never won at this.
Esan Ilasova.
Oh, wow. Let me hear it.
I don't think my father pronounced that correctly.
Let me hear let me hear the name again. I'm sorry, I threw you off your game.
Esan Ilasova.
Close enough. All right, let me hear it in a sentence.
Esan Ilasova can apparently do whatever the hell he likes on the court with impunity, and the ref will just swallow their whistles because he's the second coming of Michael Jordan. Also, he's apparently an expert in fan attendance despite playing in such basketball hotbeds as Milwaukee, Orlando, and Atlanta.
Wow, it seems
very wordy.
Very personal. My father sounds like he was mad about Ilyasova saying the Heat's arena was half empty.
I can't write anything down, right? I can't do that. I can't write okay. ERSAN ILLYASOVA.
I mean, no. But
Esan Ilasova. ERSANILYASOVA.
Oh, my God.
Esan Ilasova.
That's too bad. You're still up 2-1, though.
All right. Okay. Very generous of you. Very
let's
nice.
see. Well, but you deserve it.
Okay.
So what do we have here?
Paul George.
Oh,
Ooh,
get
a
out of
tough
here.
one.
You know what?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You got the easy one, man.
Yeah.
Let me hear it in a sentence, please.
Paul George calls himself Playoff P, despite never hitting a go-ahead shot in the final 25 seconds of a game in his career, and recently going 2 for 16 from the field in an elimination game. It would appear to be a stupid nickname.
These are very
aggressive.
angry
Very aggressive.
sentences, yeah.
PLAYOFFPEE.
Paul George, PAULGEORGE. Paul George.
He's just one P. I don't know.
All right.
But it was creative. It was clever.
No,
I
don't get that. I don't get that. You're still up 2-1.
All right.
Go ahead.
I feel like I'm playing against my dad when I was a kid, 1-on-1 in the driveway, and my dad's just trying to keep it close.
You got to lead the nurse, man. Let's go. Let's get this.
All right, let's go. 2-1 me.
Timothy Luwawu Cabarro.
What?
Who does he play for?
What?
Who is that person?
What?
Timothy Luwawu Cabarro has not played a single minute for the 76ers during the 2018 NBA playoff.
TIMOTHY.
Timothy Luwawu Cabarro. TIMOTHELUWAWUCABARROT. Timothy Luwawu Cabarro.
You know what? I believe Stugotz when he says he had the rest. That was a gimme. So go ahead and give it to him. 3-1, Stugotz.
Thanks, Dad.
3-1, Stugotz right now. What do I get?
Tristan Thompson.
Come on, man.
I don't know. The Tristan might be tough. I might get this one wrong. Let's see. Let me hear it in a sentence.
Cleveland fans recently booed Tristan Thompson for allegedly cheating on his pregnant girlfriend, Khloe Kardashian, with multiple women. Then Tristan had a good game and they immediately accepted him again.
That's nice. That's a nice story. That was good of Cleveland to be so forgiving. You got a couple of offensive rebounds. We don't have any issue with your immorality. TRISTAN THOMPSON?
Tristan Thompson.
Ooh, nice.
TRISTAN THOMPSON. Tristan Thompson.
So, all right, it's 3-2 to you. Yep. We're going to come back after the break. Do we have anything that we've got drama. We've got, we got something that's climactic here. We come back with the final four words of the spelling bee next.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
You're still getting Chris Paul right after the break.
Maybe you'll get Chris Paul.
I'll never get Chris Paul.
That third one was a tough one.
I don't want Chris Paul, and I spell it CP3. I don't know what the three's for. I mean, took him 13 years to make it to the third round of the playoffs.
Dan Le Batard.
Is it fair to say that Stugotz isn't trying very hard.
Stugotz.
Duh.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Detroit Lions have released a statement expressing support for head coach Matt Patricia after a report of a dismissed sexual assault charge from 22 years ago resurfaced yesterday. Dwayne Casey has been named the NBA's Coach of the Year. And finally, in an finally follow-up, Pasadena's infamous Dine and Dash dater has struck again. The serial dating handsome man that leaves his dates as the bill comes just added another victim. It all went down at Smitty's Bar and Grill, where his date Michelle said, quote, he ordered salad with shrimp and filet mignon. He went all out. After Triple D finished his meal, he washed everything down with 2 cups of coffee and started to get worried about an aunt that fell ill. Concerned his phone was dying, Triple D said he needed to go out to the car to give his phone a quick charge, and that was all she wrote.
Bam.
How'd he play? If your big Mother's Day surprise consists of one well-crafted text message, you need to step it up with 1-800-Flowers. Right now, you can get 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase starting at just $29.99. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code DAN. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I don't want that guy charged as a criminal. I want him promoted toward running a company. Because he has found a loophole that not many of us have considered, which is the idea of, and I understand it's both immoral and illegal, but the idea of disappearing before the check and having just leaving behind a wake of women wondering where you went and also getting stuck with a bill. Like, the ingenuity in that deserves something. Like, our American justice system should reward that person with something.
And to just stick to the Pasadena area. Bold move.
So this is the closest Stugotz has ever been to winning the spelling bee. Yep. He is up 3-2 with just 2 words left for each of us. So it's going to be hard for me to make a comeback here. Mm-hmm. Stugotz gets 1, and I can't win.
Well, is the last one, I forget, and I apologize, is the last one considered some sort of money ball? Did we do that? No? Okay.
No. So here is the 4th one. The 4th word.
I mean, Stugotz, you might be able to. You can ice this here.
I know what's coming.
Right here. You can win right here with whatever's next. This is the spelling bee from NBA playoff basketball.
Gurshan Yabusele.
Mm-hmm.
Easy one for you. Stugotz.
Randomly drawn.
Can I hear, Mike? I'm sorry to do this. Can I hear the name again?
Gurshan Yabusele.
Okay, now let me hear it in a sentence, please.
You have no idea who Gurshan Yabusele is. He plays for the Celtics, and his nickname is Dancing Bear.
For the win.
All right. G-O-R.
Gurshan Yabusele. Gurshan-Yabusele. Gurshan Yabusele.
Amazing.
Was a choke job by you. I thought for sure you were just going to spell Dancing Bear and win.
I did choke because I'm telling you, I had the rest after those first 3 letters.
I thought you were going to spell Dancing Bear and that's it and put a victory on it and that was going to be it.
Yeah, but there's nothing clever there because the nickname was announced to me. I did glue guy on my own a little bit. I don't know. I didn't feel like you were going to give me anything for that, so I tried to
better chance of getting something there than spelling that name correct.
All these complaints about how you don't get any easy ones, and that one falls in your lap.
Yep, right. Unbelievable. Let's see if I get an easy one or a hard one here. 4th one for me. This one's big.
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. Let me hear it in a sentence.
Carmelo Anthony, who loved money more than breathing, recently said that coming off the bench will be out of the question. Melo, there is no chance that any team is going to pay you $28 million. Do whatever the Thunder tell you to do, even if that includes being the actual bench for your teammates to sit on.
Carmeloanthony.
Carmelo Anthony. CarmeloAnthony. Carmelo Anthony.
Texter writes in, it's pretty obvious Dan is getting easy names. This is dumb.
You don't get the show.
So the final one for Stugotz, 3-3 tiebreaker situation. It is 3-3. This is the last one. Stugotz has a chance here to possibly bury me. What do you have here for Stugotz?
George Niang.
What?
George Niang.
What?
George Niang?
Dan liked George Niang in college.
I did like him. Yeah, he played at Iowa State.
Well, how do you pronounce the name?
No, you got to do it the way my father's pronouncing it.
Okay.
George Niang.
Okay. George. I got to hear the name one more time.
You know, you don't really get that opportunity in spelling bees, but okay.
I mean, I feel like I
George Niang.
N-I.
The things you're doing right now during the spelling bee, if you were to do them in Vegas, would get you buried in the desert.
Really?
Can you go ahead and finish?
N-I-A.
You're wrong.
George Niang. G-E-S-N-I-A-N-G. George Niang.
You forgot about the silent S.
There was a silent S in George Niang? Wait a minute, what?
At the end of George.
Yeah.
No, you got to be kidding me. You forgot it.
Georges?
How could you forget the silent S? You idiot.
All right, this one's for the win.
For the victory.
Go ahead, Chris Paul.
LeBron James.
No! That's a tough one. Let me hear it in a sentence.
LeBron James, the biggest crybaby in the NBA. You know, when he doesn't get his way, he complains to the referee. He complains to the referee, and he complains to the referee. After the game, if he doesn't win, he complains to the referee, and he goes, just because I'm big, I don't get the call. LeBron James, the most overrated player in the NBA, also the biggest snake.
Also the biggest snake. Wow. I'm pretty sure my father just said that. This is why this is going to be harder than you guys think. Let me just hear the way my father started that, because I'm pretty sure he ate an S there. I don't believe we got James there, did we?
LeBron James.
The next time. The time at the top of the
sentence.
The sentence.
LeBron James, the biggest crybaby in the NBA. You know, when he doesn't get his way, he complains to the referee. He complains to the referee, and he complains to the referee. After the game, if he doesn't win, he complains to the referee, and he goes, just because I'm big, I don't get the call. LeBron James, the most overrated player in the NBA, also the biggest snake.
The old George Niang situation you have found yourself in.
I know, and there might be a silent S here. Let me see. LeBronJame. That's my final answer.
LeBron James. LeBronJames.
Oh!
I thought you had it.
No!
I thought you had a super unsatisfying tie.
No! Oh, but the S is silent. What happened?
Good joke.
Guillermo, how much difficulty did you have with my father and some of these names? Because my father's become a giant diva. He's become yelling at producers and stuff. Did you guys have a bad experience with my father? My father's been complaining lately about how much he's paid.
He was surprisingly helpful this time, and all the names I just intentionally misspelled and made them phonetic for him, so he'd get it on like 1 or 2 tries.
Oh, so he was able to do it, though?
Yeah, because I just changed the spelling so it'd sound the way it's supposed to sound.
Underpaid, man.
It was a 2-day recording session, and he was not happy about day 2.
I know. What can you guys? We're going to come back next with stories of my father's divaness. We also have Ron McGill going to come through here with some mystery animal of death. Roy's got to stick his hand in a box, and he doesn't know the animal that's in there. We're going to do that at some point, too.
Money, 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 money.
Tie's a win for me. I mean,
that's a big surprise.
Yeah.
And tie goes to the dumber.
Mike's,
Thank you.
Mike says it's anticlimactic. I think that's an amazing upset what just happened there. Unsatisfying.
It's the rare tie where you didn't spell any of the names right.
Blue guy.
Dan Le Batard.
It's an opinion question. I gave you my answer.
Okay, but you're wrong.
Oh.
Stugotz.
I don't respect your opinion.
Okay.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We got the basketball playoffs to talk about, the Final Four. We've got the hockey playoffs to talk about. Plenty of sports going on, important sports with stakes. Amin Elhassan is here. He's going to break down for us some basketball in a second. He's wandering around the studio. Ron Magill is going to be here shortly with an animal in a box, a mystery animal.
The Final Four, huh? May Madness.
But a texter is writing in first with a question that requires us all to stop and think for a moment, because I believe it's the important question of the day. And I know that Matt Patricia is involved in a situation that nobody wants to be involved in, and that there is serious social commentary happening around that, because I know all of you, when you think about American jurisprudence and the inability to handle domestic disputes, you want to go to your sports commentator so that Stephen A. Smith can tell you what he thinks about that. Because I think that instead of the American jurisprudence system, the ones that should be litigating this in public are indeed sports journalists. I believe it's the way to do this as we turn it into content. But this question right here supersedes all of that. This question, via texter, and put it on the poll as well, Guillermo, please. Has anyone ever said the word peppers better than Mel Kiper?
Peppers.
Has anyone in the history of the word peppers ever said it better than Mel Kiper Jr.?
Peppers.
And Mel Kiper Jr. doesn't say it as well as Mike's fake Mel Kiper Jr. says it.
Peppers.
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 You talk about a peppers.
Peppers.
I think people are right. Like, who would say it better? Who would you even nominate? Who would? Because he does. He goes from the first P, and then he just leapfrogs onto the second, the double Ps, and he really pounces on them, and then he springs to glory.
Peppers.
Almost a bit of a hiccup in the middle when you say peppers. You say peppers. Extra syllables. Peppers. Green peppers.
Stephen A. Smith. He'd probably say peppers pretty well.
I would love to have them have a battle. How do you imagine Stephen A. Smith? How much flourish can you put on peppers more than the flourish, the spice right now that Kiper puts on peppers?
Peppers.
The spice he puts on it can't be done better than that.
Peppers.
Peppers.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Chris summoned some fake Stephen A. Smith, and he got it from his groin.
Peppers.
Wow.
Wow, it's pretty good. I'd like to see it. Can we have a battle? Can we have a battle between
peppers?
Peppers.
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 Oh, a Stephen A. change up.
Showed some range.
Peppers.
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 That's very good. That was a good one.
Which was a good one, Roy? Which was a good one?
The Peppers.
Who's winning right now? Hold on, everyone back off. Hold on. World Star. I don't want a brawl to break out. I want everyone to remain calm as we run toward the video cameras taping the battle between Stephen A. Smith, the fake Stephen A. Smith, the real Mel Kiper Jr., the fake Mel Kiper Jr. I just want a rap battle between the two. Gather around, all of you with your cameras and stuff. Let's videotape this for eternity and for the internet.
Peppers.
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 Jabril Peppers, linebacker out of Michigan. I see him more as a safety. Bit of a tweener, great feet, ball skills, a bit of a question. I am high, though, on Jabril Peppers.
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 I think Stephen A's winning, man.
Yeah.
You better pull
Peppers.
some Julius Peppers out of your... You better pull some Julius...
Don't ruin the joke.
Peppers.
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 Pepper.
Julius Peppers, pass rusher out of North Carolina. Bit of a basketball player, great athlete. I envision this guy as one of the best premier pass rushers in the NFL. Could really be a boost to that D-line over there in Carolina.
Stuffed peppers.
Whoa! Oh! It has escalated! What you got for the GOAT, Fake Mel Kiper Jr.?
Pepper?
Oh, he shook. Rattled. He shook. Victories.
Habanero pepper.
Stugotz here, guys. Mother's Day is coming up pretty quick. Whether it's your mom, your wife, or your sister, all moms need to hear they are appreciated and know that they are loved. So, show how much you care to the lady who taught you everything you know about caring with a Hallmark card. From sweet to sentimental to laugh out loud funny, Hallmark has a card that'll help you put your love for mom into words and let her know how much she matters. It's your way of saying thank you for all the sleepless nights and selfless acts of love. Go out and find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card today. You can find them wherever Hallmark cards are sold.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Don Le Batard.
I don't like when, big-time celebrities, they get so big and then they're going to write a children's book. It's an easy cash grab. And quite frankly, I don't need Jack White's advice on how to raise my children. It's annoying. Sorry. Hey, Jack White. Please. Let me tell you, the last place I'm going for children advice, for child advice, for parenting advice is to Jack White and his stupid book. Jack White.
Stugotz.
And honestly, who is Jack White? Pretentious Jack White. Hey, I'm going to fire up a children's book. Tell you how to parent your kids. Leave me alone. Just write new songs. Stop writing books. Write new songs.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Stugotz got a text during the break from his daughter that made him feel ancient. I've been telling Guillermo to find some sounds that will tell the audience when Stugotz and I are being old. Stugotz had this idea that we should just have a sound that plays for the audience and a secret sound when Stugotz and I are saying something that's old. And Guillermo said during the break, he's like, I would have used it when you shouted World Star. And so let's find whatever that sound is. I don't know. Somebody offer suggestions. Amin Elhassan in with us right now. But what happened to Stugotz during the break is, listen to this. Listen to what just happened to Stugotz in terms of feeling fossilized.
So my daughter's at school. She sent me a GIF, right? Mm-hmm. And it says, what's up? And it's a cool looking guy saying, what's up? So I, scrolled and tried to find one to send her back saying, what's up? All I found were the Beatles waving hello to my daughter. So I sent that to her. Okay. She responded.
Wait, the Beatles, not a bunch of funny insects, which would have been funny.
No,
the Beatles.
Just the actual
Ringo,
Paul, John. Yes,
that's right. The
George.
Beatles waving.
Yeah. And they're overrated, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, they're all waving at my daughter Rachel, to which she responded, Daddy, who the hell are those old men?
She did the same thing when she met Pat Riley. Who was that creepy old guy you introduced us to? But here's the other thing that happens to young people who are cool, who then grow old. They don't realize when they've purchased a stylish baseball cap that looks like a penis.
Are we allowed to do this on air?
Well, Mike Ryan is wearing a hat today. Well, I don't even know. Listen to this. What I'm about to say is this hat that Mike Ryan is wearing, the second most offensive thing about it is that it looks like junk, male junk. That's the second most offensive thing. The most offensive thing is that there's an actual minor league team that is promoting domestic abuse on its hats with a flying chancleta, a flip-flop that a Latin mother would throw. Yes, a flip-flop that a Latin mother or father would throw at a misbehaving child.
The flying chanclas,
yes.
Which Latin people know what a flying... In fact, I believe someone was just arrested for throwing a chancleta. But in Latin culture, that's how you get your kids' attention. That's how you punish them. You get the chancla.
Honest question. Is there any version of the chancleta that's not flying?
No.
The one at the bottom of Eric Dampier's feet. He used to play in flip-flops. That one never flew. It was always cemented to the ground.
Honest question. Why are you wearing sunglasses?
Oh, because my lawyer said this would help in the upcoming case that's going to come.
I can't believe that you're doing this.
Look, man.
You guys with this grid of death are always so annoying.
I had a long talk with some legal
lawyer.
I had legal advice, and my lawyer said, I just don't talk and don't let them see your eyes, because then, that might give up the case.
But do you want to explain to the audience what we're talking about, or you just want to go so inside that nobody has any idea what you're talking about?
I was going to leave you that honor because it's your show, and also because I'm not supposed to say too much.
Okay, well, there's that. Well, then, thank you for leaving me that honor. Yeah. Amin is here to fulfill a grid of death punishment. That grid of death punishment was supposed to be a hissing cockroach on his face. We had a devil of a time trying to find a hissing cockroach, so Ron Magill is bringing in a different critter that we hope makes some noise, and before 1 p.m. that will crawl across Amin's face on ESPN News.
Well, I would pump the brakes on all that. I agreed to have a hissing cockroach crawl on my face. You guys got a hissing cockroach, let's do it. If not, you need to talk to my lawyer.
You are a jerk, Amin
Get my
Elhassan.
lawyer on the line.
I was so kind in reaching out to you and explaining the situation.
I don't.
And for you to pull this now on the air and derail what I've been working on, my masterwork, my life's work, has culminated with Ron Magill coming in here and having live in-studio payoffs. And for you to do this, I will never forgive you.
I love that your masterwork, as you announce it, is delivered from a mouth that is beneath a hat that is either abuse of children or looks like a male junk.
You know what the red part looks like?
It's blue.
Can I see it?
No,
you can't. The red part.
Okay.
No, we're going to keep it moving.
All right.
We've gone far enough. Again, though, what is this team? Is it a single A affiliate, Mike?
Yeah, I think it was a temporary rebrand in San Antonio to be the Flying Chanclas.
Because it is funny. It's a flip-flop flying through the air, and it looks to be aerodynamic, and it looks to be in flight.
By the way, people have received their Big Baller brand shoes quicker than I received this hat.
Really?
These were on back order.
So, last night, the 76ers, I couldn't believe how much Boston got at the rim at the end of a playoff game. Last 7 minutes of Philadelphia's season, Boston spent it at the rim on Joel Embiid. Is Boston better than Philadelphia? Is Boston more talented than Philadelphia?
No.
Are those two different questions?
Those are two different questions. Boston is everything, and we're going to talk about this a lot more tomorrow because it's really frustrating to say something and then think what you said was wrong, and then later on find out, oh no, you were right all along. Everything I said about Philadelphia came true. Everything I said here before that series against Miami came true. It just came true against the Boston Celtics and not against the Miami Heat. What Boston was able to do throughout this series is control pace of the game. It was a slower pace series than the Miami series was. And then what they did was they focused exclusively on taking that 3-point line away.
Man, and did they?
They did a tremendous job. If you look at the attempts, because that's how we measure 3-point defense in the NBA, percentage usually doesn't really mean much. Guys make or miss, regardless of what you're doing. But them taking shots, that is what is a better measure of how good your 3-point defense was. And Boston was able to limit their attempts from beyond the 3-point line.
I am being told, and I don't know what this is. This is a surprise, that Amin's attorney is now on the line.
Oh, great.
Where's Ron Magill in this box, this mystery animal box that he is bringing in for Roy to stick his hand in? And what is the critter that is going to be crawling across Amin's face if his attorney doesn't interrupt all of this?
My attorneys have advised me to not divulge that information at this
moment.
moment.
All right, well, who are you putting on the line now?
Played.
All right, Amin's attorney joins us now. I don't know who this is. I'm not doing a bit here. I don't know.
Back from the mic.
I don't know who this is. Do you know who this is, Amin?
Oh yeah, I know. I hired him.
Okay, all right. Who is
the best? The best there is.
I think it's Lester Munson.
All right, let's see what we've got.
You can tell Ron Magill to stay home with all his critters. Roy can keep his hands where he wants to keep them, and Amin does not have to participate in this nonsense, this charade. I mean, you must respect the community, give Amin immunity. That's the thing that we're doing today. Dan Lebotard.
I mean, who is this, though?
Don't worry about it. I am Amin's attorney. You guys have a history of mistreating Amin and people like Amin. Last time I was near the show, you guys were using the word Phil Negro willy-nilly. Can't respect you. Can't respect what you're doing.
All right. Thank you, Amin's attorney. We will find out if a critter will crawl across Amin's face at some point in the next hour and 45 minutes, or if it just all ends in racial discrimination and litigation.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person. Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
I don't like when, like, big-time celebrities, they get so big and then they're going to write a children's book. It's an easy cash grab. And quite frankly, I don't need Jack White's advice on how to raise my children. It's annoying. Sorry. Hey, Jack White, please. Let me tell you, the last place I'm going for children advice, for child advice, for parenting advice is to Jack White and his stupid book. Jack White.
Stugotz.
And honestly, who is Jack White? Pretentious Jack White. Hey, I'm going to fire up a children's book. Tell you how to parent your kids. Leave me alone. Just write new songs. Stop writing books. Write new songs.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Ron Magill is here. He's going to spend the next couple of hours with us. He's got a box of some sort here that is filled with what is that, Ron? Is this what's going to crawl across Amin's face?
Yes,
attorneys not intervening.
I thought it'd be appropriate to bring the good, big, domestic, huge Miami palmetto roaches.
Okay, they
nice.
are. Oh, so these are the ones that fly.
Yeah, well, they haven't developed their wings yet. They're just a fat nymph stage where they're really good to eat.
Okay, those are big, fat beetles, I guess they look like.
No, they're roaches.
No, but they look like, I'm just trying, okay, if they don't look like roaches.
Yeah,
exactly,
why don't you let one go on top of this counter and see it run? It'll remind you
look
very
like
much.
Let's not do that. Amin just gave us the Matumbo finger wag. It seems like, I don't like how Amin's acting towards this. I mean, listen, you got to pay off the debt.
You got to pay off the bet before 1 o'clock. We brought Ron Magill, a zoo guy. He came in with a box full of animals. You got to pay this off. I mean,
that wasn't the debt. The debt was a hissing cockroach.
All right, we'll all hiss while the cockroach.
They'll hiss. These are the.
They hiss.
They hiss.
There you go.
Oh, he found hissing cockroaches.
What you got?
He found hissers.
What you got?
He found hissers.
They hiss.
You've got a
We're just
noon
going to take this
hisser on
man's
your
word
face.
for it. He just walked in here with a box.
Well, come on. What's in the box is a whole different thing. What's in here, this is your thing.
All right.
These are big.
Ron, did you say those are good enough to eat? Did you say that?
Highly nutritious.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, favorite food of the tokay gecko.
Yeah.
Today's going to end with Stugotz eating a cockroach.
No, today's not going to end with Stugotz eating any sort of cockroach.
Ron, you've eaten all sorts of exotic foods while being with
the biggest source of protein. You know what people don't realize is you're eating bugs every day. Every time you have a box of cereal or something, there's a certain limit that the USDA actually allows in your food as far as insects are concerned. So you're eating insects every day, even though you don't know it.
Guillermo, put that on the poll. Did you know that the FDA allowed
USDA, not the FDA.
I'm
That's
sorry.
a fine.
The USDA allowed a certain amount of insects to be in your food. I was not aware that was something that the government had signed off on.
That is true.
So you're not going to tell us anything. At noon, are we doing the hissing cockroach with Amin?
We can do at noon. Amin, how much are you going to squirm? Because if you're not going to squirm that much, maybe we can do it next segment if you'd like.
Stugotz is very disturbed already. He wants this box out of here.
Yeah,
incredible video on the screen, man.
I mean, they're big, they're fat. It feels like they're grass-fed.
I'd like, if we could pull this off, I'd like Amin to do his thing next segment so we can get this box out of here, and then Roy has something else to do later on in the show. So I think that's the order I'd
Roy
like
has to reach into a box with a mystery animal in it. What can you tell us about?
All I can tell you is that Roy needs to not sweat and not shake, okay? And that if that happens, he might get his hand in and out of the box without getting bitten.
Yeah.
But if he is
sweating or he shakes, there are many of these animals in this box, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is not pleasant.
Woo!
Wow. It's a puppy, huh?
Do not shake and do not sweat. Lucas, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Lucas.
Hi, you often hear that an athlete runs like a gazelle. Is that a compliment? Are gazelles graceful and fast?
Absolutely a compliment. The fastest land animal on earth are gazelles and pronghorn antelope, other than the cheetah. They will actually outrun a cheetah in the distance because they have greater endurance, but they can run very quickly, 40, 45 miles an hour, and their zigging and zagging is unmatched.
Jake, keep practicing a non-shaking hand, Roy. Jake, you're on with Ron Magill. Go ahead.
Hey, Ron. What is it about a cockroach that makes it indestructible to nuclear war? Thanks.
You know, it's hard to answer that question. We do know that they've been around for millions of years, and there's always that saying that even when everything else is dead, there'll still be a roach walking around on the earth. They're just an animal that has built up an incredible resistance to bacteria, different types of viruses, which is why they are found in dead and rotting things and why they can feed on those things without dying themselves.
Much like Rick Pitino.
Mitch, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Ron. I live next to the Shawnee National Forest, if you're familiar. I was driving through about a month ago, and owls swooped down and ran headfirst into my car. Why would it do that?
Because they're dumb.
Why do you say things? You know, you have to stop using such harsh words when describing wildlife, Dan.
Why did it happen?
It happened because probably he saw a mouse running across the road at the same time and then got blinded by the headlights of the automobile and was disoriented and unfortunately had a collision.
Because they're dumb.
Dan.
Bird brain.
Eric, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Eric.
Hi, Ron. I wanted to ask if you saw the video of the lion attacking that sanctuary owner in South Africa. And second question, what age can a lion be for you to still get up close with it without it being dangerous?
It's not as much an age as it is a size, and by law in the United States, USDA does not allow contact with any lion over 25 pounds. So unless you're specifically permitted for that. Generally speaking, listen, I've said it many times, it's an old saying, you take an animal out of the wild, you can't take the wild out of the animal. These animals can turn in a heartbeat. A lion that's up to 50 pounds is probably not going to kill anybody, but it can do a lot of damage to you, and it can certainly kill a child. That's without saying. But having said that, I'd say 50 pounds is the limit before I would ever think of any lion that I would ever want to get in with.
Taylor, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead.
Hey, Ron, I was wondering if for some reason all the humans were wiped out, which current living animal would be the top predator in the animal kingdom?
Top predator other than humans, assuming that humans are wiped out and none of the other predators are? You'd have to go in the ocean, the great white shark or the killer whale. And on land, I would have to go with the tiger. Those are the two greatest predators that we have. Polar bear maybe in the Arctic.
Gene, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Gene.
Ron, hi. I want to know if you could pick one animal to fight for your life, what would it be?
Well, hold on a second. What are you asking? An animal that he'd like to fight for his life, or an animal?
No, an animal that would fight on Ron's behalf.
Okay, fighting to save your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Defending me. My mom.
That's pretty good throughout the animal kingdom, right? That's what every animal should want. Mom, that's right, because moms fight a lot harder.
They do.
And they have those chanclas.
That's right. The chanclas. Chancletas. We were just talking about Mike. That's a minor league team. He's got a flying chancleta on his hat celebrating what is child abuse that we all recognize as Hispanics from a flying chancleta from a displeased mother. Jeff, you're on ESPN Radio. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yes, Ronnie. I'm here in Michigan, and I got pet dogs that get attacked by porcupines, and we got to take pliers to get the quills out. I was wondering how Mother Nature tends to that.
Well, a lot of times they can become so infected it actually can lead to the death of that animal, believe it or not. That's why porcupine quills are dangerous. But the bottom line is most of the time the skin just basically grows into them and they kind of fall out on their own. If the infection causes I don't want to sound gross, but it causes a pustule, a boil, and that loosens up the thing, and then eventually, hopefully, it heals. But there are occasions when these animals get such severe infections that they don't survive.
Ron Magill always makes us happy. We're happy to have him around for the next couple of hours. He's got critters. He's got an assortment. He's got a mystery animal, and we're going to get
box.
The death box is what he's calling it, Roy. No shaking of the hand.
No sweating.
No sweating. Hey, should we? And I don't know if this is going to involve Amin's attorney again. Should we get Roy running on a treadmill or doing jumping jacks? Should there be some sort of punishment that might have his hand sweating? Because I think we want to make it for optimal pain.
Don Batard.
I'd like to be a dog, man. It seems like such a great lifestyle. You sleep all day, you wait for everyone to come home, they rub your belly, they take you for a walk, and they just throw treats at you.
Stugotz.
I mean, I feel like you're kind of this show's pet, though, aren't you? Kind of. I mean, look at you today.
Who's good?
I mean, who's good? We groomed Stugotz. Who's good? Who's good?
Who's good? This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I mean, I'm sitting dangerously close to these roaches, man.
Stugotz is legitimately scared. Stugotz has been scared the entire break because he's right next to these roaches, and Ron Magill keeps like fiddling with the top of the case, and these things fly, and they're fat. They've been fattened up on protein shakes.
Close the cage.
He keeps opening up the top of it. These things fly. They're about to crawl across the face of Amin.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. The Players' Championship is underway. Check out Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, and Jordan Spieth on the course right now on ESPN+. Here's your SportsCenter update. David Price has a mild case of carpal tunnel syndrome. I mean, this is bad, man. Red Sox manager Alex Cora doesn't believe that playing the video game Fortnite with his teammates brought on the issue. It's funny. The Westgate Superbook has Golden State as the favorite against the Rockets. I have the Warriors in 4. And finally, Young Thug and Future have tattoos of each other's names. How about that? For you pros out there, next week is OSHA's Safety Stand Down, and we've teamed up with Werner to take a timeout to learn about ladder and fall protection safety. Remember, falls are preventable. Go to WernerStandDown.com to learn more. That's WernerStandDown.com for all the latest headlines and information. Tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
We are first and foremost.
Man. Because I've been the joke on this show forever, and as long as I'm on the show, I will always be the joke. I feel like there's a joke about to be played on me. I feel like there's a cockroach on me right now.
No.
I'm standing somewhere.
All right, hold on a second. Slow down. Everybody calm down. This is the situation we have in front of us. It's treacherous. Stugotz is not feigning his fear. He is afraid of insects. He has once gone to the hospital trying to get a lizard off of a ladder. He fell down. He once called, I'm not making this up.
I called Ron about that.
He called 911 one time because a frog was in his house.
Yep.
There's a 911 call somewhere. We're not making that up.
It was a bullfrog. I mean, in my defense, it was.
Okay, we're not making that up. So, Stugotz, so now Ron Magill is here of Zoom Miami. We've got a very cramped quarters here, a small studio. On ESPN News, this is going to be visually funny. I need to keep the radio audience involved in this as well. So, this is the picture you need to paint. Stugotz is right next to Ron Magill, right next to him. Ron Magill is giant, Stugotz is not.
He's on a knee right now, and he's taller than I am.
That is true. Ron Magill is on his knees, and he is taller than Stugotz. He's got a cube filled with excessive roaches. How many are in there?
I don't know, about 20.
20. 20 roaches. I don't know why he brought 20. One would have sufficed.
I wanted to make sure I'm going to have one good one.
I want an exact amount. That's what I want because I'm keeping count here.
Careful, they fly. Careful, they fly.
I'm going to sit on your lap
14.
in a minute.
There's 14 in there.
All right, there's
14 in there. Do palmetto bugs fly? Do they exist outside of South Florida in the United States?
They do. They do. But they get big and juicy here in South Florida.
All right, so are you going to get the biggest one? So Amin's going to put his face on this counter
yes,
right
now.
now.
He's going to lay down on that counter.
This very unsanitary counter, by
That's
the way.
right, the Stugotz counter
This
filled
is
with
where he picks his nose and flicks boogers
crumbs
all over
and
it.
cocaine. That's
I gotta
right.
put my face on
That's
that.
right.
There's one right underneath the table
Careful.
if you need one, by the way.
So here we go. So, so Amin, hold on a second. You're just going to grab a fat one? You're going to leave the whole thing open?
Oh, yeah. They can't. These are in nymph stages, so they're just really fat and plump. Oh, they're jumpy, little jumpy. Hold on a second.
They're a little jumpy. All right, now hold on a second. Hold on to it for a second, Ron, if you don't mind. Amin, put your face here on the counter. What are the rules here, Mike? He is lost at the grid of death. This is just going to crawl from the top of his head to wherever it crawls for how long?
It just needs to crawl on his face. It just needs to crawl on his face.
Crawl on his face. We are getting there. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Okay, that's his ear. That is his ear. There's a roach on his ear. All right. Let the roach walk around. Let it walk around. It's going to slime around.
It's still in my ear.
Oh, there are 3 of them. Oh, my God. There's more than one. And Ron is a cheater. Run! There are 3 roaches on his face.
Oh, my God. There we go.
Oh, there's one crawling on the top of his head. And one of them is a speedster. One of the roaches.
He's putting a fourth.
The fourth one. There's so many roaches on his face. All right, enough. Now one of them on his back.
Oh, my God. Come on. Count the roaches. Count the roaches.
Get out of here.
Ron, do not do that to me.
Stugotz
Ron, do not do this to me. Ron, I've never made fun of you and Tim. Ron, don't do it.
You never
Ron,
listen to me on anything.
Ron, don't do it. Ron,
throw a palmetto bug at him.
Addy did.
Throw it at him. Throw it at him. Don't spill my coffee. You coward. You coward. Go to commercial. It's not the roach, it's my coffee, Stugotz. It's my coffee. Don't curse, please, Stugotz.
Sorry.
No matter how afraid you are.
I thought we were off there.
I mean, excellent work by you.
No, I apologize.
I hope there was a camera on him in the corner.
I mean, you're a trooper. You're a trooper. I mean, describe this.
He mashed it.
Nothing went into his ear.
He mashed it into my ear. It did not go into my ear. You mashed it into my ear.
Ron was very aggressive with those roaches. It was all very surprising.
I thought you were supposed to be kind to animals, and that didn't.
That didn't seem kind. I believe he hurled a palmetto bug at Stugotz. All right, we got to regroup here. Stugotz, you are an uncommon kind of coward. The terror that just spread across you is.
I gotta get video of that.
Is there one on his shoulder? Is there one on his shoulder? Is there one on his shoulder? Oh my God! Is it on his shoulder?
I do not care. Where's my? I need my copy.
All right, here you go. 1-800-Flowers. 1-800-Flowers is where it's at.
I need my copy.
If you want to please your mother on Mother's Day, 1-800-Flowers is where you go. Oh, look, his copy. He threw it. He threw his copy at Ron. He threw his copy at Ron.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, you don't know where it is. You're shirtless. You are hanging out of.
I'm sure we recovered all of them.
Talking to the microphone, that's helpful.
I'm asking Ron if we recovered all of them.
We're not sure we recovered all of them. There are cockroaches all over the studio. I feel one on my leg, and I think one might be on Stugotz's back.
You have a huge roach right behind you.
Look out! 1-800-Flowers, people, is where it's at.
There it is.
Okay, I got it now.
Stugotz, go ahead and tell the people about Mother's Day and 1-800-Flowers. I'm sure this is the commercial spokesman that 1-800-Flowers is thrilled to have.
Who wouldn't want this? I mean, let's be honest. Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch developed a close bond to his mother, Delisa, early on. An athlete herself, Delisa
this studio looks like a pack of Wolverines has run through it.
Man, I'm sorry. My heart is racing, man. You okay?
I'm good. You good?
I'm good, I think. I don't know. I don't know if I'm good.
Mike, are you good?
Stugotz is shirtless.
Your clothes, man.
Yeah.
Where are your clothes?
Oh, my God. My kids are going to be so embarrassed by all of this.
I'm embarrassed.
It's dawned on me.
The terror that was in your face.
Pretty good six-pack, though, huh? Been working out. There you go. I've been working out hard, man. I have.
Don Le Batard. Stugotz is disgusting. Stugotz.
Yep.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
All right, none of that was shtick. All of it was real. Amin did not know that there were 4 giant cockroaches on his head. Ron Magill was going to legitimately throw a cockroach at a shirtless Stugotz, but he saw so much terror that Ron Magill pulled back. That's true. Ron Magill was going to throw a cockroach at you, and you were so terrified that he felt sorry for you.
I went shirtless because I thought he actually put one on me. That's just to be clear. I went shirtless because I thought there was one on my shoulder. Ron had one in his hand, and you're right. He's known me for a long time. Ron walked me through the zoo with my kids. I didn't touch a single animal. I don't even think we went to the cage. Ron invited me everywhere.
Ron, did you pity Stugotz? Yes or no?
I was actually more frightened of being sued by Stugotz because he might seriously hurt himself, and I was worried that I was going to get sued.
I didn't even think about that. I wish he had thrown it on me.
Now, keep in mind, Amin was a champion, a hero during that segment, and Stugotz, the sister Jean of cockroach segments, came in and stole the story from Amin. Was a real trooper,
There's your 4th Mount Rushmore head right there.
All right, so
people who are the story or have nothing to do with the story.
That's right.
Yes.
Stugotz stole the moment, much like I stole Billy's home run moment. But let's do this here because we've got a lot of callers for Ron Magill. Give us 30 smart seconds on Warriors Rockets. I mean, give us 30 seconds that people aren't getting elsewhere on that series.
Well, you like to talk a lot about the math and how the Rockets are changing the math with their 3-point attempts, getting about 50 up a game. And what I talked about in the Celtics-Sixers series, I think is going to happen with Golden State and Houston. Golden State is going to make them not take threes by just being there, have to put it on the floor and go to the rim or do something else.
That's not going to go well, right? That's not going to go well for Houston.
For Houston, probably not.
They don't want to play twos against threes for Golden State.
No.
Houston can't take away Golden State's threes?
You tell me who matches up with a set of 7-foot Kevin Durant.
That makes it problematic.
Yeah, it's a little harder,
Can Capella bother him at all or no? Or?
I mean, he can bother him, but then you got Durant going to the rim, and Capella's their only rim protector. So, I just don't think it's a good matchup for Houston.
Jacob, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, what's up, dude? What's going on, guys? Hey, so Ron, if we trained a silverback to do a bench press, what would be its max bench press?
God, that's a hard one to say, but I would say I wouldn't put it below 400. I'd say 400 or above. Easily.
Okay, so that if we trained a silverback gorilla to do that, we could get a 400-pound bench press. Give me the Celtics' chance or chances against LeBron.
Well, I mean, I feel like after this last series, you have to take them a lot more seriously just in their ability to execute a game plan. Obviously, they don't have a lot of people who match up with LeBron, but I think what we've seen from the Raptors was the Raptors didn't lose because LeBron was great. He was great. They lost because everybody else got off in a way that they didn't get off in that Indiana series. So Boston's chances, I think, are more about we're going to guard LeBron's single coverage and make sure everybody else suffocates.
So just the way they did it with Simmons.
Yep.
That's the way they go.
I mean, he's obviously way better than Simmons.
Right, but that's what they did. Yep. That's how they ended the Sixers. Dre, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dre.
Hey, Ron, can you confirm dolphins use the toxins from a pufferfish to get high? And it
I can't confirm that, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's something they found out that actually worked.
Do animals recreationally get high?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, Dan, you were quick with
Well,
that.
no, because Ron has answered that question about gorillas and trees and berries and stuff before.
Exactly.
Give us what you've got on Ben Simmons and what the Celtics did to him.
Well, I think that they did what I talked about Miami was going to do to him, which is basically make him make a shot, B, make him have to execute, not play an up and down style where we're just rolling out pickup basketball. And once it turned into execution basketball, he kind of shrunk in the moment, particularly at the end of close games, because he's got a mental block at that free throw line, even though his free throw shooting was actually pretty good during the playoffs.
Chelsea, you're on with Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Ron. I have a 3-month-old baby pig, and I've been noticing that I have a couple of hawks visiting my yard. I'm wondering, are they hunting my pig, and will they actually swoop down and get him from me?
What's the weight of your pig?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hung up.
Oh, my God. Well, it depends. They're not. It's not going to come get your baby pig if your pig is, anywhere between 7 pounds or above. But lower than that, and not a hawk is going to get it, but certainly an eagle, an osprey. Ospreys are fish eaters, but yeah, certainly an eagle could get it.
Kent Bazemore coming in our yard?
Alex, you're on. Alex, you're on with Ron Magill of Zoo Miami. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Ron, great job with the article. How do the aquariums decide which fishes can play along with the other fishes when they put them in the tank? Thanks.
That's a good question. There's a lot of aggression with different species, and the best way I can tell you is just to try to, study them online, which species get along with which species, and provide different places where they can get away from each other. Because that's one of the biggest reasons for losses of aquarium fish is interspecies aggression.
Compare Simmons to somebody. Is he 6'10" Rondo? Because Rondo shoots even Rondo shoots better than he does.
I mean, but he's way more athletic, right? And so his ability to turn the corner and Rondo was quick, but this guy's quicker, right? But also he's 6'10", and also he can dunk on you where Rondo's trying to lay it up.
Right.
Rondo's 6'2", 6'3". He's
right,
6'10".
But I'm saying I don't think I've seen a player that does what Simmons does, which is he caves in your defense,
right,
even if he can't shoot a jumper.
Well, yeah, and that's what Miami learned early in Game 1 is that if you give him that space because he can't shoot, he will attack that space. It gives him a runway. I think Simmons is going to be tremendous. I don't think this whole non-jump shooting thing is going to be permanent.
You think he can figure that out?
Yeah.
You think he's good enough to figure that out?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, quickly, what do you got for Magill? Quickly, please.
Not too quick.
Thanks, John.
All right.
What do you got?
John, listen to me.
Hello?
Listen to me. John,
Hello?
Can you hear me? John, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I want you to hear me clearly, okay? On behalf of the show, no detours, straight Art Briles.
Stugotz here, guys. Mother's Day is coming up pretty quick. Whether it's your mom, your wife, or your sister, all moms need to hear they are appreciated and know that they are loved. So, show how much you care to the lady who taught you everything you know about caring with a Hallmark card. From sweet to sentimental to laugh out loud funny, Hallmark has a card that'll help you put your love for mom into words and let her know how much she matters. It's your way of saying thank you for all the sleepless nights and selfless acts of love. Go out and find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card today. You can find them wherever Hallmark cards are sold.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Don Le Batard.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Awful.
Stugotz.
I mean,
no, he's an embarrassment, man. He's bad. He's not a good player. I don't know what happened to him because when he was in Portland, he was fantastic. He is not good, Dan. He cost them the game last night. Although they won the game. But had they lost, I'm telling you, it would have been on LaMarcus Aldridge. And the only reason it's not is because they won the game. And I'm still going to crush them even though they won.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Rafael Palmeiro says he has agreed to play with his son for the independent Claiborne Railroaders at the age of 53. Orioles pitcher Dylan Bundy became the first pitcher in the modern era to give up 4 homers without recording an out. Tough night, man. And finally, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson scored a whopping $22 million base pay for the upcoming action comedy Red Notice, which finally landed at Universal after a serious bidding war. As part of the deal, Johnson will be paid $1 million just to promote the movie on his social media platforms. $1 million. I'd like to arrive at that place.
Would you?
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice.
Really? I'm stunned by that. You are the only person on the entire planet who would like to be paid $1 million for what he puts on his social media account. Yep. Keep working, Stugotz. Someday you'll get there.
I'm grinding, man.
You're in a phone store on a Friday evening, demanding your appearance fee from a clerk behind the desk. Someday you'll get there.
I'll do it for $10. I mean, but I'm just saying, I don't mean $1 million. I'd like to arrive at a point where people are paying me to tweet stuff out because I could do that all day. Mm-hmm. Would you? Never in a million years. But I wish I had access to your Twitter account because then I could charge a couple of thousand. You got a lot of followers, man. Someone give me the passwords. If your big Mother's Day surprise consists of one well-crafted text message, you need to step it up with 1-800-Flowers. Right now, you can get 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase starting at $29.99. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click the radio icon. Enter code Dan. Do it today. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
What do you do with that Palmeiro story?
I mean, it's nice. Gets to play with his son later on in his career. You know, even if he doesn't play that well, he's hanging around his son every day. They're hitting the diamond together. They're going to work together, like you and your dad. It's nice.
You're acting like he's not going to hit 285.
Well, he's going to lead the league in hits. Like, he's going to lead the league. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is Rafael Palmeiro going to lead the Railroaders in hits? Were they the Railroaders?
Yeah, the Claiborne Railroaders.
I got to tell you, I've been distracted for the last 10 minutes because Stugotz and Guillermo they've got their eyes on Ryan Hollins, and I don't know what's happening exactly. I'm confused, but they've been hatching and plotting and scheming, and I don't understand what's happening here.
We think here that we have an opportunity. There are no opinion shows on right now. There's a re-air of First Take. We're on. There's no other radio shows on. SportsCenter's on. No one's giving opinions there. So we feel like this 76ers thing, it's all yours. Like, you have it. You have the opinion. But the one guy...
I can have the opinion of the Sixers are going to be the first team ever to rally from 3-0. The opinion is still available.
The one guy we're concerned about, and Guillermo can kind of take it from here, is Ryan Hollins.
That's why you guys kept saying the Ryan Hollins watch.
Well, that's the thing, is that you have theoretically an hour here. However, you're not ready to do it yet. But we know if Hollins appears on the screen, he's going to give that take. So we are on level 4 Hollins watch right now. And Dan, I don't know if you're going to be comfortable or not. If Hollins appears on the screen, you're going to have to kind of blurt it out.
I'm not comfortable doing it yet, saying it out loud yet for everybody. But I heard you guys planning to have Ryan Hollins on hold as a guest on our show for 4 segments. just to distract him so that he can't go on SportsCenter and give the opinion.
What I think we'd like to do is have Allison call Ryan Hollins, act like she's interested in what it is Ryan Hollins has to say, and then say the guys want to talk to you about this, put him on hold, but we never actually get to Ryan Hollins. Therefore, he's on hold for our show. We know we're never taking him, but we also know he's not going on another show this hour.
Yeah, we need to essentially block Ryan Hollins from going somewhere else. Now,
why is he the only one we've identified as a problem?
He's the one we're most concerned with at this time.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
if we do go through with the Ryan Hollins plan, where we get him on hold, we just need kind of hijinks and tomfoolery to ensue a little bit each segment, and then we're like, oh, Ryan, we'll get you next segment. And then we kind of just slowly keep pushing.
So we're
going
to filibuster like they do on C-SPAN sometimes.
All while Ryan Hollins is pushing away producers that are trying to get him on camera because
To
he keeps
get
saying,
him to
no,
say,
I'm sorry, I'm
now,
on hold.
do we assume that he's going to do that just because he used to play for the Sixers?
No, but this is the type of thing Ryan Hollins would do. If everyone's saying X, he's going to go Y.
Classic
Hollins.
Hollins.
It's classic Hollins, and what we're telling you is, and you don't seem ready or prepared to make this, to step out of
How
this
long
limb.
has Ryan Hollins worked for the network? I feel like he's just auditioning for a job right now, and this is the thing that would carry him. You predict correctly that the Sixers, is Ryan Hollins now at our network officially? Has he been here for many years, or is he one of those athletes who's coming through the car wash where you're auditioning for post-career work on television?
He actually never played for the Sixers. That's one of the 3 teams he never played for. He was on the Celtics.
Okay, so why are we thinking he was going to pick the Sixers in that series? Why are we scared of Ryan Hollins? Ryan
Hollins says stuff. That's why. He says stuff.
Ryan is going to Hollins.
He's always a second away from saying that thing, and we need that thing this time to not be your thing.
Sometimes it could be the Transformers are racist. Sometimes it could be the Sixers are coming back from 3-0.
You never know.
Wacky.
So if we get him on the line, can we just ask him, hey, do you think the Sixers are going to win?
Well, no.
No, because then
You're missing the point of Hollins watch. Oh my God.
What do you mean? Why would we bring him on? We're trying to
Why
keep
would we
him
give
off.
him the platform we're trying to keep away from him?
Well, because I think if you just ask him off air, hey, are you interested? He might say, no, I think the Celtics are going to win. And
We don't really care. We just don't want to give him the opportunity. Like, that's it. I mean, you might be right, but you also might be wrong.
By the way, we're jumping through all these hoops for you, Dan. As you work up the courage to actually deliver this prediction.
Yes.
I have an idea. This is what we do.
What?
To old Ryan Hollins. We get him on.
Yeah.
We keep him on hold a little bit.
Right.
We bring, let's whisper so he doesn't hear it. Then we ask him in the break the question when he's not on the air.
That's what I meant.
So we get him to say it, and he thinks that he said it somewhere, but no one heard it but us.
I see. To trick him and pretend.
And then he won't
Yes,
say it anywhere else because he said it, but he didn't really say it because no one heard it.
We have a pact, though, right? Like, we're sworn to secrecy here.
Don't tell anyone.
No, there is no pact. We're making this up as we go along.
Okay.
What pact is there?
I'm all
sorry.
in. Blood oath. Everybody cut your hand.
No pact.
Why is there a pact?
Blood oath. Cut yourself.
Okay.
Anybody got a
Well,
knife?
what's the pact we're making?
That when he says it, he didn't really say it. We know that, but no one else will.
Well, we've got to trick him. It's
we
a
need to
trap.
pretend to do a show in the commercial break where we bring on Ryan Hollins and we ask him the question. Yes. He says that thing, but no one gets it. Why are we whispering?
What's the pact that we made? I still don't understand the pact.
The pact that we made is Hollins might say it before you say it, but none of us.
subtle whisper.
That sounds like just a review of what's happened so far.
It doesn't even sound like
More
you're
than a
talking
pact.
quiet.
I don't understand.
You're going to say it. Hollins is going to say it, but everyone's going to start fighting over it.
You've stopped pacting, and now you're just the sports whisperer.
I don't think you get the plan.
We don't think that you understand what
Hollins
anyone.
never said it.
You don't understand anything that's happening right now.
Every crew needs an idiot, I guess.
Thank you.
Aquí lo que importa es el catch.
So we're all clear.
What kind of plan is this? The guy just butts into the room, and he's like, yeah, I get 80%, right?
You're going to have to talk to Hollins during the break. You understand that, right?
Midweek growth showed up and bit you on the face.
Are we all cutting ourselves because I'm bleeding?
Dan Le Batard.
Is this a middle school show or a big boy show?
Stugotz.
It's kind of a middle school show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
One of the first pieces, major journalism pieces that I ever did was on Rafael Palmeiro. And he was a Miami kid, is a Miami guy, and now I'm sure the butt of many jokes after being one of the guys stained by the steroid scandal that didn't actually recover from it. There was a time that there were reports that Rafael Palmeiro had become such a shamed fugitive from fame that he looked like Tom Hanks in Castaway, deserted island, just everything that he worked for in his life in terms of identity, being a guy who gets to 3,000 hits and is an excellent baseball player, stripped, tarnished at the end in a way that had no integrity. So you can imagine the scars of that. And in that piece that I did with Rafael Palmeiro, I remember the conversations that we had that I found heartbreaking that he didn't, which is how difficult his father was on him, pushing him toward greatness, heckling him in eighth grade, ninth grade, climbing up on a fence when he'd hit a ball off of the fence. His father would be behind the railing saying if he was a real man, he'd hit it over the damn fence or he'd pull the ball. It got so bad that Rafael Palmeiro's wife would intercept those phone calls after Palmeiro's gone 4 for 5 off Dwight Gooden because his father had some sort of criticism that would be mentally debilitating. So from that prism, the idea that Rafael Palmeiro has chosen to wander minor league baseball fields with his own son in the name of supporting whatever it is that his son is doing, that is an amazing transformation. I understand why it would be the butt of your jokes. I understand why Rafael Palmeiro at 53 playing for the Railroaders would be an absurdity. But what I'm telling you is that when Rafael Palmeiro's dad was 53, what he was doing is making phone calls to his son that his wife had to intercept because they were so cruel and because of how her Hall of Fame husband, or would have been Hall of Fame husband if not for everything that came with the steroid scandal, how wrecked he would be after these conversations with his father. So the idea, I've been wanting to talk to Rafael Palmeiro forever about all of this, but nobody can get a hold of Rafael Palmeiro. He's hiding in the shadows. He's had a weird career, except for the one time he came out to do erectile dysfunction commercials out of nowhere.
Needed the money, yeah.
I think that happened before he needed the money.
Oh.
And I don't think he needs the money.
Stugotz, why would you leap there? What? I was just telling a heartwarming story, or attempting to. And you just jumped in with your only contribution of he needed the money.
I mean, why else would he have done it? I was just thinking about it. It is a nice story. It's a heartwarming story. And you're right. He's doing it better with his son than his father did with him. But it does steal some of the thunder away from your son, right? Like Rafael Palmeiro becomes the story of that team now.
You took the reported, journalistic, heartfelt story that I just told about fathers and sons and found the only two places where you could criticize it.
Yeah. That's what I do.
He needed the money. Yeah. He's taking the shine from his son.
I mean, he's on an island.
You were the most despicable person in the history of broadcast words.
Well, thank you. I mean, listen, just hear me out. I mean, you know, he's on an island.
What are you holding in your right hand? What is this crumpled up piece of paper that you just fished out of the trash can while doing your job this impeccably? No, why is there a crumpled piece of paper in your hand? Why? Explain to me.
I was trying to find the name of his team, the Claiborne Railroaders.
Oh, so you can make the railroader jokes that were the next piece in your toolbox?
Really railroading his son, man.
There it is. There it is. So you were looking for the crumpled piece of paper. Yeah. There it is. Stugotz's career. And watch it. You just put some fertilizer on the crumpled piece of paper. It's like a magic act. And like, woo, a beautiful pink flower grows from the sewer. I hate you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I love you too.
He needs the money.
Why else would you come out? I mean, you're on a deserted island forever. You come out and you shoot those commercials. I mean,
the commercials were while he was playing. We corrected you already.
Well, no, we corrected you. You made the mistake.
We have a couple Ryan Hollins updates.
Oh, no.
You are flirting with disaster, my friend. Billy informs me what?
2 hours ago, Ryan Hollins put up a picture of him eating at the ESPN Cafe in Bristol in a suit. So he's around.
But do we know if he's willing to pick the Sixers? No one's brave enough to pick the Sixers to rally from down 3-0. Somebody's got to do it. At some point in basketball history, somebody's got to be able to do it. And the circumstances are ripe in this particular matchup for it to be the first time it's ever happened. It's why the Sixers, I think they opened at a mild favorite. I think they opened at -1. I saw it someplace -1.
Yeah, okay. The line that I saw was at Pick'em, but
you had it at Pick'em. It moved a little bit. At one point, I was surprised that a 3 against a 2 on the road, down 3-1, would be in any way. You saw what happened last night. The basketball games last night, the point spreads were 11 and 12. And look at what happened in the games. 9 and 10. Like right there, you're dying with every basket because at the end of the game, what happened is what everyone thought was going to happen, which is it's going to be right there at double digit. We don't know how we're going to get there, but you know that somebody is going to get to double digits, and then you're going to be dying at the end with your free throws and some guy you've never heard of, hucking up some sort of mid-range jumper.
Vegas kind of knows what they're doing.
Right, a little bit. Yes. But so on this one,
yeah.
I was surprised to see, oh, wow, that's a lot of respect for the Sixers. The money, that's a lot of respect for the Sixers.
Yeah.
They think this is a bit of a mirage. The bettors, I'm not sure how good the odds are you would get right now on Sixers coming back in that series. I don't know that you'd get value there. If you would have gotten it at down 3-0, I don't know if you'd get value right now or feel like you'd be getting value betting Sixers down 3-1 because that's a bet where you expect to lose your money.
Yeah, and if they get it to 3-3, they still have to win a road playoff game.
Which 7. No one ever wins. Right. You've got Ben Simmons, 21 years old, and doesn't want to shoot the basketball. You've got him going on the road in Game 7. That's why it never happens. It's why it's so improbable.
Yeah, there's only a few outliers. The Jazz did it, I think, last year, but it's really difficult to do. Hardest thing in that sport to do, I think.
But I believe that the audience thinks that it's possible because you don't believe in the Celtics team. Because who's their star? Like, who is it? You're used to playoff teams that get to the finals, even if it's in a weak Eastern Conference, you're used to being able to say that team and its star, with very few exceptions. Maybe the Detroit Pistons of Chauncey Billups, but
it's Jason Tatum right now.
I mean, it is right now, right? But it's also Terry Rozier right now.
No, I know. And he had a bad game last game, and look what happened. So, but Tatum is the guy. I mean, 6 consecutive games of 20-plus points as a rookie, Dan. Like, very few guys have done that. I think it's LeBron and Jordan.
I know, but Stugotz, somebody for them has to get it for them in order to win.
But he's been getting it efficiently, man. Like, he's been playing
I'm not saying he's not good. Right. I'm just talking about why it is that the money isn't decidedly in the favor of Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics when all of history supports that the Celtics are going to win that series. And yet I can't bring myself to do it.
You're I'm
so close.
You're really close.
Hollins is in Bristol, man. He's around live microphones. He can pop on a TV set whenever he wants. I'm telling you, better get this thing in, man.
He was on Mike and Mike yesterday, and it seemed like as though he was starting to build up to that prediction.
Yeah. This is one of the most exciting young teams that we've seen in a really long time.
I mean, look at that.
Oh, no. He is getting close to it.
I know.
He is getting close to it. I don't know what to do. I'm too scared of it, though. I can't be publicly out there. Especially, guys, here's something you haven't considered. These Boston apes that don't understand the joke. You guys have not considered that the Boston apes are just going to hear Batard predicted the Sixers. Look at what an idiot he is. He doesn't know anything. So I'm scared of that.
They're in your head?
I'm very scared.
Really? They're right?
Yes.
When have you ever cared?
This one is the one. I never have before now. It makes me feel soft. It makes me feel like a coward. This is the one. I'll always be willing to fight Boston. I'll always be willing to fight anyone who comes from Boston at me with their Bostonianism. But on this one, I'm scared.
Good idea. Let's set up Hollins to say it. Let him deal with the Boston fans.
Oh, no, it'll be worse for him. Trust, it'll be worse for him. I don't know why, but it'll be worse for him.
Don Batard.
Finally, Jane's Addiction frontman, Perry Farrell?
Stugotz.
Perry Farrell. Farrell. Perry Farrell.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I don't know if any of you are bird watchers, you like to watch animals in the wild, but you just saw Some classic Discovery Channel Stugotz in his natural habitat stuff. Can't pronounce Khan, pronounce it Canes, lashes out at Bill and Ted's. Like that's textbook note hitting from Stugotz. It's musical in nature. You watch it in the wild. You should be thrilled that you got to see it. He pronounced Cannes, the famous film festival, as Canes, and then got mad at Bill and Ted.
Canes Film Festival. Listen, whether I said it right or not, I still would have gotten mad at Bill and Ted. No one wants to see that movie. I mean, it's honest, the thing about it. No one.
I mean, you said it was a much anticipated third installment. I mean, you read it. I heard you say it.
Well, that's the way it was written. I mean, if I wrote it, which I never would, but if I did, I would not write it that way. I would write, hey, Bill and Ted, they're making a third installment. No one wants to see it.
How's that even going to work in 2018? Because they were in a time-traveling phone booth. Where are they going to find one of those now?
Well, put it on the poll. Are you here for a third installment of Bill and Ted's?
It's got to be funny because they're 30 years older now. What has happened in their lives? It's going to be hilarity is going to ensue. Are they the same Bill and Ted, or did they get jobs and cut their hair? Is one a lawyer?
Guillermo, put that on the poll as well.
Is one selling life insurance?
Not any of that. Just will hilarity ensue? Yes or no? Will hilarity ensue? In the interim, speaking of hilarity, Billy, you want to read for the people that story you were telling about Ichiro?
Yeah, this is from Peter Gammons of The Athletic. So I'll just read directly. One morning in spring training 2017, he was in the coach's room looking at his cell phone text messages. He's talking about Ichiro. Ichiro told his coaches about one message he had just received from a number he didn't recognize. The guy said he'd gotten Ichiro's number from Alex Rodriguez and that he wanted to come meet him and study his stretching system. What's the guy's name? Asked one of the coaches. Ichiro strolled to the end of the text. Some guy named Tom Brady. Who the bleep is Tom Brady?
Some guy named Tom Brady asked Ichiro about his stretching. Ichiro, one thing Ichiro has done that is fairly amazing in his career and being around still in baseball in his 40s, this has to be part of the reason. He spends most of his outfield time stretching. The downtime where he's just standing there, he spends a great deal of it stretching, so he's basically doing 3 hours of yoga a night.
Brady and A-Rod. Really makes you think, huh?
That what? They're talking about what it's like to date famous people or be married to famous people?
I'll leave it to your imagination.
Thank you for just throwing that fish on my lap, leaving it to my imagination, saying nothing else, and in saying nothing else, saying nothing at all, and yet accusing both an ESPN employee and Tom Brady, if people are to take your insinuations. Why is Ryan Hollins
big problem
on the television right now? Is that a re-air?
That's not Ryan.
That's not Ryan Hollins. That's a big, big fine.
Huge fine. $500.
I got to be honest here. What just happened there was I was not confusing two black guys. That's not what happened there. What happened there is I saw an excitement in the studio, and I looked over to my right and saw pointing. I don't know what you guys were pointing about. Excitement and enthusiasm, and I thought it's because you guys wanted me to break into some Ryan Hollins coverage. I had not actually seen who I was looking at before that.
That is a deflection because the only person in these two studios that was pointing was Sausage Fingers over here, and you followed his lead because whatever you did, you were following his lead, and he was absolutely doing what you said you weren't.
Well, that's not fair.
It may not be fair, but I feel like it's accurate on what it is that happened. All I know is there was a lot of enthusiasm, and I got disoriented. I was in the middle of trying to walk back. Here's the thing, okay?
I always point to the screen when David Lloyd is hosting.
I want to take a janitorial inventory of what just happened here in our studio. It reminds me of the Jonathan Coachman moment, although the Jonathan Coachman moment, we were not quite as relaxed as an entity as we are now. So let me explain to you what just happened so that you can glorify the mighty incompetence that is the cartoon character Stugotz, who will carry us all, as he already has, to greatness. I was in the process of trying to walk back what Stugotz said about ESPN employee Alex Rodriguez and Tom Brady. Recklessly just threw it out there and, did jazz hands and did his thing.
Whoa, the A-Rod thing is known.
Yeah. And I just said leave it to your imagination.
That's right. So I'm trying to walk that back for Stugotz so we can continue to remain employed at the network and he can continue to cash those checks. And in the middle of that, Stugotz pointed to the screen.
David Lloyd.
To confuse Ryan Hollins with C.J. McCollum.
That's all on me. Listen, there are a couple of things you can't blame me for, and one of them is your imagination.
Play the sound of Stugotz with Jonathan Coachman. This is an actual thing that happened on our air that was handled very seriously by way of apology on our show. Stugotz, you should probably apologize here. We should apologize for what happened last segment. It went off the rails on us. What do you want to say?
I will apologize. You don't need to apologize for anything. I need to apologize. They are my weekend observations. I said what I said. I had no idea, and I apologize to Jonathan Coachman, who has tweeted at us, and he's upset and has every right to be upset. I honestly, and anyone who knows me will understand this and believe this, I honestly, until after the segment ended and we went to commercial break, had no idea that Jonathan Coachman was black.
All right. The cadence on that is musical. It is musical. It's the most musical thing in the history of our show that is not that Dwayne Wade clip. The way Guillermo put this on the poll, which one of these is better? The musical way that this city councilwoman butchers the introduction of Dwayne Wade with all of the syllable counts you need to arrive at the punchline at the very end. Is this sound?
He's calm, collected, has a will to win because his name, of course, is Wade Jones.
His name? Who that is? The cadence is perfect. It's musical. I claim it's the most musical thing in the history of this show. I have a new nominee right here, having seen the cadence of how Stugotz. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't a punchline at the time. It's only a punchline in retrospect. This was a confusion that actually happened at Stugotz's house while he and his wife were discussing how handsome Jonathan Coachman and Max Brados are. Stugotz, you should probably apologize here. We should apologize for what happened last segment. It went off the rails on us. What do you want to say?
I will apologize. You don't need to apologize for anything. I need to apologize. They are my weekend observations. I said what I said. I had no idea, and I apologize to Jonathan Coachman, who has tweeted at us, and he's upset and has every right to be upset. I honestly, and anyone who knows me will understand this and believe this, I honestly, until after the segment ended and we went to commercial break, had no idea that Jonathan Coachman was black.
Mike shouted in the last sentence, this is my favorite part. Anyone who knows me would know that this is the most. I thought a black guy wasn't black. That's just me. Anyone who knows me
knows that how this could happen to me.
You understand. I mean, it's one of the greatest apologies ever because, yes, of course, we all understand.
All this because I pointed at David Lloyd.
Don Le Batard.
Good work today. That was a fun show.
Stugotz.
It was also intergalactically stupid.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Gonna update the polls in a second, but first we have a stat of the day for you. A fresh one. Fresh out of the oven. Yes, Mike, please. The short version of short intro to stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
The New York Mets just batted out of order. It's a thing that just happened in Major League Baseball.
You could have caught it on ESPN Plus.
That's right. ESPN Plus bringing you incompetence of the highest order. Runner in scoring position, batted out of order, inning over.
Perfect team for me.
New York Mets.
We deserve each other.
Guillermo, look it up for me, please. When's the last time a team batted out of order?
I can tell you this, Anthony DeComo, who covers the Mets, he's a beat writer for MLB.com. He's at the game, and he tweeted out he's never seen it before in a professional baseball game.
It's just amazing. I've never seen it before in a T-ball game.
It forfeited a runner in scoring position.
I can maybe understand it if double switches late in the game. You have a lot of pinch hitters, a lot of bullpen usage.
First inning.
But this happened in the first inning.
Yeah, I should have said that probably. First inning. I mean, I don't even understand what in fiction I could give you that would be more incompetent than that.
Brewers did it against the Nationals in 2016.
Okay.
In the first inning?
Still, whatever. It's not as rare an occurrence as I thought it was. It's a clerical error. Guillermo, is baseball made worse or better by a clerical error? Go ahead and put it at Le Batard Show on Twitter, because I'm going to argue better. What do you have for us in the rest of the polls, Stugotz?
The Twitter poll at Le Batard Show is brought to you by JCPenney. Shop gifts for all the moms in your life at JCPenney. Save up to 70% off fine jewelry after an extra 20% off with JCPenney credit card and coupon. Style and value for all. What happened?
Mike Ryan just whispered into my ear, that is not Ryan Hollins on your television to your right. He's just saying that about everyone on all of the televisions.
David Lloyd again? Are the big salad bags good? You know the big salad bag? Like in Publix, they have the salad bag. It's all the ingredients in one big plastic bag. You just shake it up, pour it out into a bowl. It is delicious. Great croutons. 64% of the audience said no. I mean, they're wrong, and it's healthy. Are the Golics fake football players? I think Guillermo said that.
I absolutely did not say that.
It was a caller. Oh, it was a caller. Sorry, Guillermo. 76% of the audience said yes. Uh-oh. If the leaf blower, is the leaf blower a national morning time menace? 90% of the audience said yes, it is. Is the eagle overrated? 53% of the audience said no. What's more impressive, an eagle landing on a pitcher's shoulder or Kobe not flinching when Matt Barnes pretended to inbound the ball off his face?
An important one.
71% of the audience, Mike, went with Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Wheelbarrow or wheelbarrow? 58% of the audience said wheelbarrow. Do you want a third installment of Bill and Ted? 63% of the audience said no. Those are the polls.
At Le Batard Show is how you reach us on Twitter if you want to vote overnight on any of those very important polls. Also, before we go, the Sixers are about to become the first team ever to rally from down 3-0.
Yeah!